In this video, I'm going to cover object cloning. And just so you know, object cloning is the ability for you to reuse game object functionality across various different objects that are pretty similar. You can reuse the functionality across them without having to manually implement the functionality in each individual object. The best example of this is the level select menu that came with the new version of GameBuilder Studio, version 0.7. So let's take a look at that demo and break it down. So in the level select menu demo, you notice there's many of these level select objects, and all of them are clones except for this first one. So all the secondary ones are clones of the original object, and that is indicated by the little green arrow, little green circle with that white arrow. So if you click that, it'll go back to the original object. So if we look at that entity, you'll see there's a ton of logic in here for handling whether or not it's an active level, what image to show, if it's locked or if it's been visited before. And there's a lot of this functionality that's pretty much the same all across all the different level buttons. So I don't want to have to copy this or re-implement this for 20 some odd levels. So I just made clones for it, and the only variation comes in the properties panel, where you have to define which level the button represents and if it's activated or not. So for each of the clones, you'll notice that component's been unlocked. So let's go to the clone object. All of the components are locked except by default the spatial component is always unlocked because that controls the position. You don't want that to be tied to the original. And I manually unlocked the properties component by clicking this little lock icon, and that allowed me to set the property of with this being level 2. And all of the clones have the same properties object or component unlocked. So that's the beauty of using object clones. You can clone these using a shortcut. You can hit Command D or Control D on Windows, or you can go to the top menu up here under Scene with the object selected. You can hit Clone, and then you can switch levels. You can go to another level and paste it with a special paste, or you can hit Shift, I believe it's Shift Command V. Let's go back to the first level, and I'll show you. If you don't want to keep the changes to a cloned object and you want to revert back to the source entity, just hit this quick button right here, and it'll revert it back to the original object with all its properties and all the components locked. So now you'll see that this properties panel is locked, and that's the easy way to restart a object that you want to revert back. So that's object cloning. It's a great way to save some time and reuse functionality across entities.